question, what's bigger and brighter today? The orange just outside of Championship Soccer Stadium or the sun overhead. Wednesday Night Soccer has a matinee edition, and a very young demographic is out to see Orange County Soccer Club, 14th in the West, and a bit down on their luck. Getting ready to take on Reno 1868, a side that's made the playoffs 2 years running and could draw level for top in the West with 3 points today. Hi everybody, Mike Watts, Devin Kerr on hand for the call of this one. Devin, if you are Reno 1868, you possess the ball well, they want to be sharper in the final third. You're going to show us what it looks like when they are sharp in the final third.
It's camp day, so how about a little geometry session for the little ones? Everything is about triangles, and when you're on the training ground, you break it down into a half-field span, and Ian Russell will show his boys, I want to work out of these spaces, I want balls down into the channel, I want trailing runs to the back post. That's exactly what plays out in this 2-1 victory against Los Dos last week. This is the second goal. Ball down in, simply gets the ball on the back post run, but it's the ability to have the buildup in your near look that is a greatness from Reno 1868 FC. Lovely ball in by Mendiola. 7 different players touch the ball en route to a game-winning goal.
Equilateral, isosceles, brilliant. Meanwhile, the midfield, Christian Duke's back, but Aiden Quinn's been the man again this year.
Let's get away from the triangle. Let's go box to box with the midfielder, Aiden Quinn. A guy that, when you talk to Braden Clute, he's got 6-7 deep in the center of the park. That shows you how much talent they have. That shows you how much more vital Aiden Quinn is. It's not just goal scoring. It's not just distribution. It's the dirty work in the middle of the field. His ability to take one little touch and stretch it just as you saw there. Watch this, 88th minute, Phoenix Rising FC, so composed. Quick little look up over the shoulder, and then 40-yard ball across the pitch to allow the clock to tick off a bit more and make Phoenix chase. Let's go back to distribution. Dissect the back line, have a bit more fun. Lovely ball in here, great ball back across, and a nice finish. And of course, yes, his ability to close down spaces when need be. He's actually going for the press here. He continues his run. This is the lone goal in the 1-0 victory, Western Conference semifinal last year. Sorry, Reno.
So call it a rematch if you choose. Orange County, 1 win in their last 7 all competitions. For Reno, how about the number 5? 5 straight wins, 5 wins on the road, most in the West. Orange County and Reno are coming up next. It's a sweltering 89 degrees Fahrenheit in Southern California. Welcome to Irvine and Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN3. Orange County Soccer Club in Reno 1868 FC. Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Orange County. And finally, Devin, They have Christian Duke back. His first start of the year, he had a freak injury in preseason. They need him.
Watch out, Western Conference. A few more toys for Orange County to play with now, and it's definitely dangerous when it comes in the middle of the field and the likes of Christian Duke. Michael Seaton will remain the lone point man up top. Can they find a way to move Van Wolfgang and Darwin Jones all at once when they go together? The backline has been makeshift, but a solid unit nonetheless. Orozco will step inside, Joe Amico at right back. When you take a look at what Reno 1868 is doing, multiple changes for Ian Russell. I want to start up top. Aiden Apodaca, only his second start of the season. This is a guy who's clipping at about a 50% scoring rate when he steps on the field. Very much a super sub. Mazovsky sits down, Apodaca gets his chance. Partita slides into the midfielder role, and Marsky and Kalski, of course, in between the pipes with a steady back line, no changes for the back four.
Apodaca just 40 minutes away at California Baptist from this stadium where he went to school. Ian Russell is the head coach for Reno 1868. Led this team to the playoffs in his expansion season now over 2 years ago, and in his third season at the helm, this hybrid affiliate of the San Jose Earthquakes. Matias Almeida and he both are on very good runs of form at present. Orange County, orange tops, black shorts. And Orange County realizes that this three-game homestand could be enough to help turn their season around. 3 points, and they're back on level footing for a playoff position. They start the day in 14th. Zeno Mendoza is our referee today, and Braden Cloutier, in his second year at the helm of Orange County Soccer Club, took over for Logan Paz. Last year led the team to a first-place finish in the Western Conference. Zeno Mendoza checks his watch, blows his whistle. Here we go. Wednesday soccer in Irvine, California. 1 p.m. Pacific start. Reno and Orange County. You know, Devin, we thought 1 p.m. was difficult for Reno, for Orange County, but truth of the matter is Reno played a game at 10 a.m. at RGV last year. It means at 8 a.m. they were getting to the stadium. At 4 a.m. they were eating. I mean, wild.
Well, it's crazy how much the general public doesn't understand what goes on behind the scenes and how it can really affect your body, especially when it's in close proximity to game day, when they cross the line and immediately you have to make adjustments like that. It's not as drastic in today's situation. What will still be a challenge for Reno nonetheless.
It's Herzog who's on a sizzling run of form. Apodaca's got his arm extended, wanted the ball instead. Fuentes. Partita. Akinirich. San Jose Earthquake homegrown. Runs back to Zach Carroll. Devin, we spoke with Ian Russell about the problems that this team faces right now at second in the West, and for a team that has the 6th best defense statistically in the West, it was almost surprising to hear him say, we're conceding too much and we need to hold clean sheets.
I think the thing you really had to take away from the conversation from Ian Russell wasn't only that they were conceding, but they were the ones making the mistakes. As a manager, anytime your team is going to let one in the back of the net, make another squad beat you. And that's not what's happening right now. Right now, a lot of silly mistakes on the back line and just gifting opportunities to the opposition. That is where they have hurt themselves the most. It's nice to see them looking better in the final third, but their defensive unit just has to understand, calm down at certain points in time and just be a bit more direct. It's okay to play out of trouble and get rid of it.
Ball slipped ahead. Orange County into the final third. Jones watches this fly out of play off the bounce. Corner coming.
Good look at early moments of this game, what Orange County can do in transition. Great job by Michael Seaton in hold-up play. Lovely ball in on the backside. Duke Lacroix oversteps a little bit there. That's unlike him. Keep an eye on that.
Corner for Orange County. And it'll fall for Duke. First touch dragged him wide, covered by Gleedle. Lifted out of play by Edson Alvarado. Peerage. Here's Carroll, second team All-USL in 2016, winning Red Bull 2 to a USL Cup title. Of course, he had a couple guys named Aaron Long and Tyler Adams on that team.
How loaded was that squad? Saw a good argument on Twitter the other day, and they were talking about the run of Phoenix Rising. And
Nicholas Murray, I think.
Is it the best ever? And was it Murray the one who brought up Red Bull 2?
Yes.
Very impressive. And you just take a look at not only the body of work that they put in, but everybody that was actually involved in that team. Stout squad.
Derek Etienne, Brandon Allen had a phenomenal year. John Wolnick still the coach there. Flipped up towards Seton. So bypass Duke, who slides in. Joe Amico got by Duke and a chance to counter for Reno. Fuentes driving into the wing. Brilliantly hit. Gleedle, good slide by Amico. Leonardo picked up a red card in the dying minutes. Last time out in that 0-0 draw against San Antonio. So Amico back into the starting lineup out wide, and Orozco sliding in center back role. Turned over here, Orange County driving. Jones tried to get it to Seton. Ricochets around. Jones! And Mendoza says play on. A couple of missed opportunities there for Orange County.
Michael Seton actually gets this all wrong. You're going to think that Darwin Jones playing the ball across isn't good enough, but what Seton does is he hesitates. As Seton starts to make his way up the pitch, he slows down. Darwin Jones is going 100 miles an hour. He applies the pressure, wins the challenge, and then has a load of space in front of him. Could have easily played it in behind. Instead, he had to wait for the run to develop from Michael Seton. The angle gets closed down. The back line recomposes themselves. Right there, see how slow Seton is? Now he has to go. The pace has to be quicker. If he's out in front, the ball is easily in behind Zach Carroll. Instead, you can see that Jones has to wait for the run to develop. Well done by Reno tracking back.
Meanwhile, Herzog is broken through and lifts it up and over. Incredible run of form for Herzog. 9 goals this year. He didn't have a goal in the first 2 months of the season.
Unfortunately, he's going to be running to chase this one for quite some time. Poor execution, hops up on him a little bit. You can see it coming across his body, and he just kept it on the way up. That's where you want to bring it on the downslope, or right as it hits its apex, you catch it square, put it on frame.
And out of the reach of Alvarado, Duke Lacroix to throw. I was interested to see, Devin. I know it was a playoff game last year, but it still finished 1-0. The Aiden Quinn goal was the only separator. I was wondering if, given the heat, it was going to be a little tighter today. And the reality of the matter is it's been pretty wide open.
There are some matchups we look around the Western Conference, you could feel bad blood.
Yeah.
Not saying you feel that here. This is just competition. They want to chase each other, make sure that you have the bragging rights. There are some matchups like Orange County Phoenix where you can see the real raw emotion come to the forefront of the argument. You don't necessarily feel that here, but there is a massive amount of respect between Ian Russell, Braden Cloutier on the other side, and just they want to showcase their squad. They want to show that they're the better ones, that all the hard work throughout the week is starting to pay off. We've seen it recently from Reno. Unfortunately for Orange County, they have put so many Band-Aids on this squad over the course of the campaign so far.
What movie did he compare it to where he said, you know, putting the chewing gum into the hole in the dam?
Vegas Vacation. He said, I feel like Chevy Chase when they're touring the Hoover Dam where he's bubblegum, replace it. The bubblegum blows up. Bubblegum, replace it, and he keeps going. He's like, that's how I feel. I feel like one time after another, it's just all these Band-Aids putting everything together. To be fair, they're not forced problems. They're things that are popping up. It's some of it you could understand, the red card, yellow card accumulation, but it's unfortunate injuries. You've had some really interesting rotation. They've had some player departures as well. Amazing that he's been able to navigate it so far and still remains so relevant. Yes, below the playoff line, but well within striking distance.
Gone are the names Adams, Amaya, McLean, Forrester, and Leonardo both suspended today. Coleman, Trotter. She is all out for this game with injury.
Think about that.
I mean, you're literally talking about 8, 9 players. Amaya was on loan from Cincinnati, where they're rotation players at minimum. Some of them are outright starters.
We're just going to say they could easily be starting on some squads in the USL Championship. And for him to, again, have to deal with all of that and still be sitting here with an opportunity to give his boys a run. Very well played by the manager.
Herzog tossed off the ball by Van Wolfgang. Jones pursuing at the back of Emra Clementa. All slipped ahead, Apodaca. Looking for Fuentes. Reno goes back to work. Gleedle, who came as a trialist a year ago. Gleedle sliding in front. Was a touch to that from Apodaca. He puts it out.
We can transition to Reno here, and the beautiful play that has been Raul Mendiola. Unfortunately, he's been nursing a bit of a knock himself. In steps the Englishman, Sam Gleedle. Did quite well for himself. He was part of that beautiful goal against Los Dos last week that we showcased at the top of the broadcast. And now trying to replicate exactly what went on. One of the things about Gleedle is that you can pretty much play him anywhere you want. They've played him in the middle of the pitch, primarily used outside on the wings. But in that goal, we spotlighted. They had moved him to the back line into the right back position with the substitute of Akinurich coming out.
Duke, his brother Cameron, is now Sporting Kansas City homegrown. His dad played in the indoor league in Kansas City as well. Helping to lead Jones. Seaton making a run. Jones with epic speed. Seaton, that's an easy finish for Orange County. Orange County jumps in front again against Reno.
Darwin Jones, once again, the big man showing all of the speed that he possesses. We saw it inside of 10 minutes on the far side. He flip-flops here. Van Wolfgang goes all the way to the far side of the pitch. Watch a little touch here, gets it out in front of him, and the initial play isn't on. Wanted to whip this in with his left foot, has to stop it out. Michael Seaton had started his run, rotated back around, and then shame on you, Duke Lacroix. How do you not get a body on this run when you are stagnant on the back post? The outside back gets it all wrong, but the Jamaican gets it all right.
His 7th of the year, and Michael Seaton with maybe the simplest header in the run of play I've witnessed in an extraordinary period of time.
That's the thing with Duke Lacroix, the run has stopped. You have had the opportunity to take a look at where the ball is going to be. You now know where your runner 100% is. And for this ball to be floated up in the air is absolutely atrocious from Duke Lacroix. You still have to give credit to Seaton because he could have easily, when he made this initial run, he was crashing the near post. He recognized the ball was not going to come, reset himself, and then recycled all the way back around to the far post to give him an opportunity to go challenge this ball mid-flight.
This is pinged forward again. This should look familiar. Jones on Akinurich. Jones deflects to the back post and rolls away. That will be a corner for Orange County. They wanted to just score early, score first once, and they finally have done that, and they maybe smell a little blood in the water.
Love the look here by Jones. Everybody thinks that he's going to play it. Akinurich, twice he's seen this look, twice. The ball's been flown across him. Not this time around. Cut a little inside. Jones going for the far post. And once again, Orange County on the front foot.
Cross steered, kept by Marcinkowski. Hobbled in his hands, but he does recover just short of the line. That's a Hume that got up and got a piece of that.
The center back sees all the fun. The attacking front 3 and 4 having wanted to get involved.
Led by Fuentes. Well, it is a hot day in Orange County, 91 degrees. The wet bulb thermometer is certainly going to tell us that we'll need a hydration break at some point in this first half, about the 30th minute. Herzog left it off, struck ahead. For Apodaca, but bounces kindly to Gleedle. Gleedle with that cross off of Hume. Nothing against Orozco, but Hume is enormous, isn't he?
Orozco with the massive pedigree. We'll dive deeper on in a little bit. Both Walker, his brother Tucker, plays for Nashville. Stature's not only in the league, but physical presence. Interesting that they're at opposite ends of the field.
Yeah. 6'5".
Imagine those those battles in the household. I'm sure mom and dad had to separate them quite a few times.
I'm sure some youth soccer coach had a phenomenal team for a good long while with the Humes. Heading through the challenge. Fuentes pushing in now. Poked ahead. Nothing doing for Partita. I'll run away. Stay with Reno. Right onto the foot of Duke. Jones has had an inspired start. The overlap arriving. Jones will continue on. Quinn was bouncing around waiting for it. Here is Quinn. His dad, Brian. Nearly 50 caps for the men's national team. For a handball not heard. Herzog held up. An obvious clip of the heels. Jerry Van Wolfgang won't make any friends there. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship, many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. From Seton. Duke. Jones. No problem swinging from side to side. Ball swung into the back post, and Marcinkowski, the U.S. Youth International, will snatch it.
Love the way this starts as well. There's a great shout for Braden on the sideline. He wants Kevin Alston to get this ball. And the manager asking for the switch. Nice little 40-yard ball all the way back across. And as everybody comes to follow, then recognize that there's space available on the backside of the field. Alston just picks it out. Well done by Marcinkowski to come out and collect.
Hayden Quinn will make his way over. Quinn, an MVP candidate last year, phenomenal season. Was a solid piece in Cincinnati. Captain Louisville was driven to the back post. Marcinkowski's there again. This time, deny Amico.
Had the opportunity to chat with Aiden Quinn yesterday, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. I mean, this kid really felt like at the end of last year that he should have got another look by MLS squads. I don't disagree. And this is one of the guys that when it comes to USL Championship players, the consistency and all of the variables that come into play, he checks all the boxes, and he does it on a regular basis. There are plenty of guys that show you a high talent level, and that ceiling is well above some of the other ones, but they don't reach it on a regular basis. And you feel like the way that Aiden Quinn was able to control tempo for his team, shift run of play back and forth, provide not only goals but assists, and as again, the top of the broadcast, we talked about the dirty work in the middle of the field. That really is something big for me, and felt like he would have gotten a look. I'm not saying that he would have gotten picked up by a squad, but at least brought him into preseason camp. That didn't happen. I promise you this, that gives him that extra motivation to keep going.
Jones overruns the ball. Referee got involved. Quinn off of Seaton. It's over Quinn's outstretched back heel. Devin, you look at some of the guys that over the last few years have come out of the championship. Brian Brown just made a move to Europe, the star striker for Reno 1868. The talent oftentimes is there. Sometimes the guy that gives him the opportunity he needs is not. And whether it's Cloutier having played for Brian Quinn previously, and that was the initial connection, or a guy like Brian Brown who just need a coach to challenge him, sometimes this is the perfect petri dish.
My exact words were that, and further, I related it to a personal experience. I've shared this story with you. Had the opportunity with the Seattle Sounders the last year before they went to MLS. Brian Schmetzer, love him, phenomenal coach, wanted me to change positions. I didn't want that.
Pushed ahead, Jones. But there's a balancing act, right? Edson Alvarado comes into this team. They say, hey, try left back, right back. He considered that. Right now he's starring where he was supposed to be in the first place, the midfield, because the opportunity finally did arise.
You just get your opportunities, and as long as you run with it, that's the biggest thing. Can't put your head down. When Brian Schmetzer said, listen, I want to turn you an outside back, and I said no, he said, you'll never make it as a center back at a professional level. I got the last laugh. Got an opportunity to play overseas, made plenty of money, a lot more than they were offering me in Seattle, I can promise you that. And now with guys like Edson Alvarado, Aiden Quinn, just take that chip on your shoulder, stack them up, use it to your advantage.
Driven and swiped away. I think your knee got the last laugh, sadly enough.
Still laughing at me.
Slid into the box again, and Marcinkowski with a little bobble. Actually does have that. 21 minutes in, Orange County the lead from Michael Seaton's wide open 11th minute open play header.
We didn't catch one here, but was really hoping for a shout. And the ball coming back across. Seaton in the middle of the box, a lot of space. Nice little peeling run. Coming off the likes of Joe Amico. A lot of flipping and flopping going between he and Kevin Olsen right now. Keeping Reno guessing. I like that.
Amico. Haven't heard Aaron Cervantes' name yet. That's probably a good thing. 17 years old, starting in goal for Orange County.
I'm not really musically inclined. I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I just was happy to get through 3rd and 4th grade on the recorder. I play a mean Yankee Doodle, but that's about as far as I can get.
Sorry, Mom, the piano lessons didn't take.
No.
You were at soccer practice. I was learning, you know, smoke on the water and such.
I know my limits. I've always wanted to play the guitar, play the piano. That's definitely a life goal of mine. There are some goals that will never be reached, and I'm understanding of that.
Slip ball played ahead. And wound across. Header is over the crossbar. It's Van Wolfgang who got forward. And nearly collapsed over the top of another player to try and drive that home.
Would like to see these runs develop a bit sooner. He has to wait once again, Darwin Jones. It's the diagonal run in behind the back line that gets them the opportunity to play this across. Nice little shove on the back shoulder of Duke Lacroix. Well done by Van Wolfgang coming in. But there's so much space right now as these runs are overlapping. Jones coming to the near side, Wolfgang going over. The outside back's doing it as well. Reno having trouble tracking them, and there's a lot of space in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, they're just not closing it down quick enough on the offensive side. Orange County need to understand, maybe push that second or third runner in the likes of Edson Alvarado or Aiden Quinn, pushing up through the middle to crash the party.
All cracked through again. Orange County continues the one-way traffic over the last 15 minutes. Him. Nico. Orange County's three-game homestand started with a draw against San Antonio. Game that was termed to be like a roller coaster, much like their season. But, two teams ahead of them in the standings here to close out this home swing. An enormous point of their season, Duke. Quinn on Wolfgang. Van Wolfgang charging forward again. Lofting the cross, header is wide by Seaton. Van Wolfgang, who used to play under the surname Van Avijk for Reno, nearly setting Seaton up for a brace.
We know someone was paying attention in class at the beginning of this. Lovely little ball down in. A ball across, A for effort for Michael Seaton. It's been quite impressive to watch them really utilize the channel play. They've gone direct with it. They've gone to get tricky as well. And Reno once again showing you they're having a lot of problems tracking everybody left to right.
Devin, if you're Reno, how do you change the direction of this?
There's a few problems they're dealing with right now. Number one, the midfield boys are interchanging a lot. So you get Michael Seaton dropping down in. You've now got Christian Duke pushing a high line. Duke playing very high. Aiden Quinn's basically the only one sitting. Jerry Van Wolfgang and Edson Alvarado interchanging on the far side a lot. And of course, we talked about the outside backs as well. Just so many moving parts right now. Communication is the key factor. You have to find a way to just pass off and play zonal.
Ball cracked over the crossbar after a nice effort. Find it from Duke.
One of the things that will really cause them areas is with Matias Almeida. And you talked about the relationship with Ian Russell. What Almeida has done with San Jose, he calls it the man marking system, and they have this Libre who roams free a little bit. Ian Russell has admitted they are taking from that and putting it into this diamond shape. When you combine the shape that they currently have and the zonal marking, and then switch into the man marking, you're second guessing two different philosophies. Some of that is playing out right in front of your eyes right now, where guys really aren't sure exactly where their responsibilities lie. Orange County's taking advantage of it.
Kudos to the team staff that put up a tent for that hard-working trumpeter and the drummer too. Devin, you think about the first four games for Matias Almeida, bloodbath. San Jose's bottom of the standings again, and people are questioning what they did. What they did was they brought in a guy who's rebuilt team after team, took Chivas all the way to a Champions League title, and so for Reno, they're trying to adapt as well, but even Ian Russell admits, hey, this is foreign to me too. I'm trying to learn this as well.
How do you say that to a coach in the likes of Ian Russell, who's been so successful already?
Right.
Think about what they've done over the past 2 seasons now, funneling into their third. Seems like they could score 1 million goals if they wanted to back in 2017. Of course, Dane Kelly was at the forefront of that then. He leaves, and they don't miss a beat. System changes a little bit, and they control the ball a bit better, to be honest, in 2018. And now 19, you're just combining all of it. You get the good run of form by Corey Herzog. Of course, Mazowski coming back.
Quinn. On around. He thought a couple times about letting that rip. Finally did, missed the target.
Always wanted it on the left foot, Aiden Quinn. When he cuts it back across his body, the form fails just a little bit. Has to bring it all the way back across. Can't get his laces on it. The misconnection just pushes it wide. But the evolution does have to happen. When you take a look around teams that are in good run of form this year and have probably been at their best, the easy talking point is Phoenix Rising. They are totally different than what you saw in 2018. They still possess that quick strike ability, but they can put it down and play with the best of them.
Well, that appeared to be a pretty obvious handball for Orozco.
Reno holds the ball a bit better now. T2 has always been able to knock it side to side. Of course, the past 2 years, it's been a bit different. El Paso, top 5 team, Mark Lowry's boys. And you and I have the conversation on a regular basis, the biggest differences between East and West. You see Western Conference team starting to bridge that gap on the offensive side, but defensively, it's still a stark difference than what goes on in the likes of the Eastern Conference.
Nearly Herzog was through. If you want to know why Tampa Bay is top of the East, their offense is fine, their defense is vital, and often stifling to the point where teams go to Al Lang without hope of getting a goal. Reno's handed a card to the 4th official. This ball sprung over the top. Marsikowski struggling to deal with that. He went right to the edge of the 18-yard box. I still, Nikola Popovich was at Swope Park, now he's in Ottawa, and I've used this quote before because it's gold. He said the difference between the East and the West is the variability of style of play. He said, New York Red Bulls will press you while you're going to the bathroom. He's as interesting a guy as you'll find as the offside flag is up here. And it looks like this is the time for that hydration break, if they're going to take one. Players are certainly making their way over like that. Will Seymour is waiting by the 4th official to come in. That's going to have to wait a moment. As we're in the 31st minute, and Orange County has a 1-0 lead from the 11th minute. Devin, you think about what happened last time out for Orange County. It was a 0-0 draw against San Antonio. In stoppage time, Leonardo was sent off, and you could see Darren Powell exploding on the sideline. It was unclear, I think, to him, the fans, the broadcaster walked me through this.
So basically, there's a lot of miscommunication about what should happen on this play because of the rule changes. So when you take a look at it, Billy Forbes gets out in front here, and there's a touch behind Leonardo. Leonardo commits the foul. Okay, that's a foul. Let him play on. The problem is the player is already in the offside position. So when you track back, there is not a clear opportunity to go for the ball here. Leonardo is 100% making a play on the player himself. What does that mean? If he goes for the ball, it's just a yellow. But because he's the last man, it is a deniable goal-scoring opportunity. He does not make an actual play on the ball, 100% a red card. Unfortunately, the player, even though it continues, from San Antonio is still in an offside position. The goal gets called back. Orange County goes down to 10 men. They thank their lucky stars. They go the other direction. It ends in 0-0. Credit to Braden, by the way, who said immediately it took about 5 or 6 different explanations from every single referee on the pitch, and they got it right. And that's coming from a coach who went down to 10 men. Yeah, obviously, the goal didn't count.
Oh, come on now. I mean, there was 2 minutes left in the game. It's funny because I start our chat with him. I go, all right, I cannot wait to hear what happened with this red card. And he goes, well, what do you want to know? As if it weren't a big deal. But they got a point out of that you could very easily argue they weren't going to get. As Seymour checks on for Apodaca. Devin, you think about the moment here and why they make the change when they do. They've gone to 2 strikers more often than not. And Apodaca grew up in Rancho Cucamonga and went to California Baptist 40 miles away. But they're getting run over in the midfield.
Struggling, and Aiden hasn't exactly been super effective, but the biggest issue is right in the middle of the field. You said, how do you change it? Tactically was the immediate answer, but it had to come from personnel and overloading it so that you didn't allow the likes of Alvarado, Quinn, all the 5 to have a little go of it, with Seton playing the only one up top. Now you drop them in. You can drop 2 holders. It'll be interesting to see how they play out, because if they do let Corey Herzog run as the lone striker, if that is the case, they are going to be getting out of their comfort zone. They will no longer be in a diamond 4. They will be sitting with 2, possibly 3, right in the middle of the midfield. So the way this plays out for Ian Russell could easily be a look we haven't seen so far.
The big thing that stood out to me when Gold Cup started, when they thought they were getting Brian Brown back, was I like 2 different forwards that approach the game, play the game differently, have different qualities and characteristics, and I think that's fair. Apodaca and Herzog are a lot more similar than Brown and Herzog or Brown and Apodaca.
One thing we have to also consider here, and I'm not saying this is what went on, as you can see the field start to take shape a little bit. There is a chance, a small one, though I don't necessarily agree, that Aiden picked up a knock.
Yep.
That is a possibility. 30 minutes in for a manager to make a change is not very normal. So the fact that Ian Russell was willing to pull the trigger means one of 2 things. He's concerned about his player. More importantly, he's concerned about his team and falling even further behind. They're lucky it's not 2 or 3 right now.
Fuentes plays it ahead. Spinning through that turn was Siad Haji. 2nd overall pick in the MLS Super Draft out of VCU. Saeed Haji, Generation Adidas pick and on loan at present.
That's a good look at the substitute. Will Seymour coming back in. He's very well accustomed to playing that midfielder role down in the middle. Looks like he is going to pair right alongside Kevin Partida. Gilbert Fuentes dropping in. Basically what they've done is they've turned it into a block in the middle, kind of similar to what you see out of the Bethlehem Steel, allowing the outside backs to get pretty high. Corey Herzog and Gilbert Fuentes playing next to each other. Herzog obviously going to stretch it a bit further. Now you wonder, how does Orange County now move their chess pieces? Ian Russell has put a couple pieces on the table and shown his cards.
Seton charging forward. Here's Jones. Jones may have to do it himself. He does! 5-hole, 2-0 Orange County.
Reno is getting overrun in the middle of the field. And Orange County has had a field day, but twice. Akin Juric has really struggled with the pace of Darwin Jones and the decision making. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, count them all, that Darwin Jones is allowed to have an opportunity to make a decision on this ball. Too much space in between he and the player. Akin Juric doesn't close things down. Jones says, all right, you see the scouting report. You wanted to put it on my right foot? Not gonna happen. I'm going to my left. I'm gonna make you pay. He puts his point out in front by 2.
And he has his team leading 7th goal, tied with Michael Seton. And both the goal scorers for Orange County over the course of this year have been again today. 37th minute. And it feels a little more prescient now, Devin. You think about the conversation we had with Braden Cloutier. Could this be the turning point of their season? Reno's 2nd in the West, a team that they knocked out of the playoffs last year. You watch Orange County today, whether it's Duke being back or this midfield being reassembled, this feels like a totally different team.
Remember, these teams did meet earlier this year. First game of the season, March 9th, where Reno got out in front. They didn't do it early. Tale of 2 halves. It was 2 goals in the 63rd and 68th from Brian Brown, and of course the man who's trying to make his way back into this lineup, Lino Mafeka. Orange County was able to claw back into it. So what I would like to see here is Orange County continue to push the pace, really go after these guys, go for that 3rd goal and put the foot on the jugular.
Lino Mafeka finally did return from a lengthy absence But his availability in this game and how many minutes he can give in this heat remains to be seen. Especially with another game in Reno on Saturday against a really solid Colorado Springs side that's come along under their new coach. This will run all the way back. You know, Devin, sometimes we talk with coaches and they say, hey, I know they're at the bottom of the standings, but I really don't want to see them right now. Them getting off the schneid is our theoretical worst loss of the season.
Make that move with a couple teams right now. Orange County SC, who, by the way, as we're talking, virtually has jumped themselves into the number 10 playoff position. How about that? Incredible. Same could go for New Mexico United, Sacramento Republic. All three of those teams right now struggling with their run of form, but just too many weapons to not give them enough credit when you match up against them.
Play will come back here. Seymour got involved, another guy with FC Cincinnati pedigree. On a Wolfgang. It's a bit heavy from Jones. Reno, if they don't turn this around, it'd be a pretty staggering end to a 5-game win streak. Not sure we've ever seen 3 different teams go on streaks of 5 wins or longer at the same time in one conference. To go one step further, Real Monarchs just drew. They had a 5-game win streak. But Fresno and Phoenix, the other 2 teams involved. Phoenix now 10, a league record.
Coming into this match, Phoenix had a game in hand on Reno. Even then, even if they would have won, which based upon the way things are going, you could almost write it up. If you give them the victory against Tulsa, they're still only 6 points up. That shows you how good that Reno has been recently. And to only be 6 points up, 10-game win streak, 30 out of 30, and you're only 6 back. Well done, Ian Russell.
On Adam Smith in Fresno too. He's sitting right in that neck of the woods as well, and game in hand situation is a little less murky for them. Arteta. It's lucky the cue ball came back to him.
It's unfortunate that, I'm not going to say these streaks are going to come to an end. I'm no soothsayer, contrary to popular belief, but we don't get to see those 2 teams, Fresno and Phoenix, do battle for quite some time on this beautiful run of form that they're on. They don't play till September 21st. I'm sure by that time we'll have a much better idea of how the playoff picture is starting to come to fruition.
Of course, if Reno did find a way to keep this going, they do go to Phoenix on Friday, August 16th, or as they call it there, Dollar Beer Night.
Watch out.
Back in Earage. Dollar Beer Night, where opposition's dreams go to die. It's the most remarkable streak in all of sports, according to the Dan Patrick Show. That's a nice ball slicing forward. Seaton thinks he caught Marcinkowski. He drives it off frame.
Not lacking for confidence, are we? Great ball by Aiden Quinn coming out of the middle. Really thought Michael Seaton would have pushed this out in front of him. And then had to go. So he takes his time to collect his thoughts a little bit, and there's a little hand. That comes out in front. Some argument coming in the likes of Emma Clementa. Definitely bounces up. Both Seton and the trailing run of Will Seymour could see it firsthand. Right outside the top of the 18. This ball coming back across. Here's Aiden Quinn, dirty work. And it is off of Will Seymour. And then just moments before that, great ball by Aiden Quinn coming out of the middle. That's what we were just talking about. Michael Seton has a go from distance. Marcin not truly worried about it. Sets up nicely for the left footer here in Aiden Quinn. So many a talent in the likes of Christian Duke and Jerry Van Wolfgang that would like to have a say, but where the wall's going to be placed, where Marcin will cheat to the far post a little bit, almost assuredly going to be the left footer.
Quinn had an all-time goal for Louisville against Tulsa back in 15. It was the league's goal of the year. Put into play, it will be Quinn. Things broke up a little quickly on him. It will be a corner for Orange County.
He gets a little bit lucky on this. It's not the best of execution because he is leaning back the entire way. Fortunately, a Reno player bails him out. Ends up with a deflection over the end line. Just trying to push the ball to the side and get it around the wall, give him a better angle, and Marcin gets a little bit more. Even though he has to come to the far post, he's always going to be pushing back to the near side.
Van Wolfgang have in his satchel here. Ball bouncing down, struck on the scissor kick by Seton and driven away. It'll find its way out. Hey, fans, you can follow Orange County, Reno, the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. It's your home for the USL Championship, USL League One, MLS, UFC, and more. You join the over 2 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today, ESPNplus.com. 3 minutes added onto the clock. 0 taken off, apparently, according to the board.
Go ahead, D6.
Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look around the Western Conference standings. We've got USL Championship news and notes from around the league, and we've got your highlights and stats from the first half that's been mostly Orange County. Nico to throw. Grew up in Indianapolis, moved to Columbia, Missouri, eventually found his way into the Kansas City Academy, through UCF in Jacksonville, collegiate level. Swope Park Ranger, now in his second year at Orange County. Recovered by Van Wolfgang. I'll talk about dirty work, Dev. And I know you love it as a center back, a midfield that's willing to do dirty work. But whether it's Alvarado, or it's Quinn, or it's Van Wolfgang, or it's Christian Duke, who seems to be the king of it, this is a team that seems to take a lot after their leader in that sense.
They all follow suit, and we'll go a bit further into that at halftime. But their ability to all interchange as well, because you've got 4 or 5 in the middle that can pretty much play any position you want.
Reno won't grab one back here as it's snatched by Cervantes.
Outside of Darwin Jones, who's always going to play outside, whether it be left or right. Every single one of those. Alvarado, Wolfgang, Quinn, and Duke can play in the middle. They can play as a holder, and they can push out onto the wing. Now, obviously, guys like Aiden Quinn are probably going to sit more centrally, but with the pace that he has, and more importantly, his explosion at 5-10 yards to really give himself a gap between the opposing player. You'll see him rotate into those advanced positions. We already referenced how Reno knew about that in the game-winning goal last year, Western Conference semifinal, and he showcased it earlier this year as well. He's known for his distribution skills, and They have been in full effect this afternoon so far.
Seton, is there one more chance here for Orange County before the break? Offside flag is up. And Rosendo Mendoza will almost assuredly peek at his watch. He has. And the first half is over. Devin, very strong start from Orange County.
Beyond impressed from Brayton's squad and what they were able to do. And big talking point coming out of him, we need to make teams play our game. We've been coming from behind a little bit. They went out and imposed their will. Reno 1868 really took them some time to get going. Some tactical changes out of Ian Russell. They've changed the shape in the middle of the midfield. We'll go a bit deeper at halftime.
A team that's won the West 2 of the last 5 years in the regular season. Down on their luck, we said. Injuries, suspensions, licking their wounds, bubblegum in the dam. Orange County has 2 goals at the break. Seton totally unmarked. Jones goes through the whole defense. 2-0 at the break. Stick around, Wednesday Night Soccer continues.
Wow.
2-0 Orange County over Reno 1868 with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, and by the way, Brad Baker's back to work this week, USL's broadcast czar. Welcome back, boss. We're happy to have you back in the office after the birth of his child. Game of the week is El Paso, New Mexico, and if you haven't seen what New Mexico has done on and off the field this year, you're missing out. Their owner, Peter Trevisani, has done a wonderful job. Let's get you ready for the next game of the week and a little bit more.
It's Frater! What a hit!
Crossing in, it's a goal! He's a better knocked away myself. Omar Salgado, the hometown hero.
Streaking run from Josh Suggs.
Cross keeps the winner. Another brace. Mower!
There's so much pride in this state. There's, I think, been so much pent-up demand in people who have just been looking for a way to shine and come through, and they're so capable. Some of the best people in the world live in New Mexico.
This idea was sort of born from that, you know, why don't we have a section in our stadium that is devoted entirely to the underserved, the underprivileged, you know, maybe kids who would never have the opportunity to come do this, or public servants in our community, firefighters, teachers.
It's really about uniting to the community. It's really about seeing positive outcomes for people. When I see a positive outcome for someone and I see someone start to believe in themselves more and understand what their capabilities are, it makes me feel so happy because I think oftentimes people aren't in a situation where they're able to really fully shine. And we have individually, we have so much inside. It's probably so much more than we're even allowed or think we can give every day. So let's create a platform that gives and encourages giving and encourages community. And I think if we do that, we can make a real change.
For example, we have the YMCA coming, so we gave 75 tickets there. There was 150 tickets went to Herman Sanchez Community Center, and then the others went to other kids in the community that really would not have this opportunity.
But by the way, if it was gone and someone else wanted to get in, we'd make it happen. It's for everybody.
So it's a way to spread goodwill in our own community to the people who need it most.
It's not just about a game anymore. New Mexico is really out there making a statement.
We wanted everybody from Albuquerque to Santa Fe to the eastern and western corners of the state, southern. You're part of this team. You're part of this family. It's a movement really more than anything else, and we want everyone to know that they're a part of it. That's what our name means, United.
Welcome back, everybody. 1,500 kids are here on what's a camp day. It was a 1 o'clock start Pacific time. Devin was, getting all these kids in class early on?
I think some of them are a bit truant. They're out there with their shoes off hanging out on the field, but I tried my best.
Let's take a look at news and notes from around the USL Championship from the California Republic. 3 teams right now, 5-game winning streaks or longer. We mentioned it in the first half. 3 Eastern Conference teams, 5 games or longer, unbeaten. Now, how about Phoenix Rising, Devin? This is one of the most incredible runs we've seen in this league. Best ever, that remains to be seen, though.
I'm not going to say it's the best ever. I will say it is the best run we have ever seen so far. Through 9 games, through 10 games, yes. Now they need to go for 11, and it's the manner in which they've done it. Goals for, goals against, shutouts, quite impressive. Look at that matchup. Tampa Bay Rowdies, New York Red Bull 2. Cannot wait to see them do battle.
Me neither. As we take a look at what we've got going on in the Western Conference at present. And the Western Conference standings show you, these are live. Orange County is back in the playoff mix. And with all the guys they're bringing back from injury, suspension, the next few weeks, I would imagine they'll stay there, Dev.
This is my argument between the East and the West right now. When you take a look, Orange County, New Mexico United, Sacramento Republic, T2, El Paso Locomotive. 5 teams in the top 10 have 2 wins or less. There's none in the Eastern Conference that you could say that about. So that gives you an idea of how things are fluctuating right now. You're also starting to see a gap develop. Remember, for a long time, teams could be in 11th, get a win, and jump into 2nd or 3rd. That is no longer the case. The cream is starting to rise to the top.
Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's coming up. Wednesday night soccer. We've got New Mexico and El Paso coming up. What great things Peter Trevisani and Troy Lassane and the players have done there, putting that together along with that staff. And we're back on ESPN News, Devin. Sacramento and Eric Winalda's Las Vegas Lights.
And then just around the corner, August 21st and August 30th, the Eastern Conference will get in on the action. Hot take, August 30th, Eastern Conference final preview. Calling it.
I think this is a good amount of silence for this. The mic has been dropped by Devin Kerr. Will we see an Ilya Illich Bowl in the Eastern Conference final? Meanwhile, Western Conference semifinal rematch. Orange County 2 goals up on Reno. We'll show you how it happened when we come back. those kids are not truant, Devin. I know what you said, but they are in their assigned seats. It's halftime right now of the USL Championships Wednesday night soccer. Orange Man has a tough gig on a 90-degree day in Southern California. Orange County 2, Reno 0. Devin, let's show people how it happened. As Orange County
was on here. Jones cuts it across his body, puts it in for the second with his left foot.
Well, Devin, these are pretty lopsided. If you're Reno, you already made a change to try and rectify that a bit at the half-hour mark.
What was going on was there was too much movement in the middle of the field. That diamond, there was a lot of space to play through. I actually said to Braden Cloutier, I said, do you think that this is a good matchup? He gave us a nice little chuckle, gave us the damn story, and then moved on. Sidestepped it a little bit, but the depth that their midfield provides has obviously exploited what Reno was trying to throw at them in the first half. They've gone a bit more linear, Reno 1868 have. They're flat in the middle, Partita and Seymour sitting, Galito on the right, Hadji on the left. Now, can you find a way to counteract when they put their outside back so high? Because Kevin Alston and Joe Amico are switching sides. Can you then go in transition and make them pay for it?
So the halftime numbers show a pretty significant Orange County lead. Orange County finishes their 3-game homestand against Sacramento on the weekend. Then they go away to Tacoma. Evan, they win those 2 games, they could be in 4th.
You're right back in it, and then you got to turn the corner and take on the streaking Real Monarchs. SLC, as we mentioned, 5 in a row, and then the 1 draw, still 6 unbeaten. And then at New Mexico United, we just saw a great piece on Trevisani's squad. Can they get back on track after their Open Cup defeat?
Meanwhile, Reno 1868. If fans want to make a road trip, may I suggest August 16th at Phoenix when you can get beer for only $1?
Brings the travel expenses down, doesn't it?
It does.
It should be a fun one. They've got a bit more of a easier schedule to manage in the sense of Colorado Springs. Yes, they're in better form. They are not what they were in the past at RGV. You would think that's a guaranteed 3 points. Not happening. HEB Park, very difficult to play at, and then San Antonio comes to town. So up and down for the schedule of Reno 1868. More importantly, what can you do in the second 45 minutes?
So Reno have returned to the field. Herzog in the forefront. He's been at the forefront of this great run. 9 goals this year. He's up to 53 in his USL championship career. Meanwhile, Orange County bringing in another fullback that they felt, just like last year with Kevin Alston, could change everything. And he's a really well-known player. Michael Orozco, who played at Gold Cup, won Gold Cup with the U.S. men's national team under Jurgen Klinsmann, has spent most of his career in Mexico. His parents are Mexican, only spent 2010 in Philadelphia, but he's really proud, Devin, to represent his hometown in Orange County, to show his kids, his own children, where his passion for the game started.
Won the 2015 Copa and Mex on loan with Puebla as well. And you take a look at just his career history, 291 appearances, 9 goals, 7 assists in all competitions. Obviously that it's a defender, but in upwards of over 300 when you include international play. And that was kind of what Braden said to us as well. Obviously the veteran leadership, Aiden Quinn said that guys coming in to the squad this year, Harry Forrester, that was a big one. Edson Alvarado recently, and of course, Michael Orozco. absolutely unbelievable, leading by example, giving these guys really the blueprint of what your career can be. Remember, some of these guys just coming into the professional experience, a la Edson Alvarado, and guys like Aiden Quinn who, you know what, maybe they feel a bit slighted, down, but not necessarily out. And when you have veteran guys like that that come into your squad midseason that can help push you to the next height, that is recipe for success.
Akinurich, the outside back, comes out. Raul Mendiola, the wide midfielder, comes on. By the way, who did Orozco play for at Puebla in 2014? El Chelis.
Wow, well done, sir.
Throwback.
That's full circle.
Yeah. So Orange County stands over the ball. They're ready to take us into the second half of play. Orange County defeated Reno last year in the USL Championships Western Conference semifinal before having their own flame extinguished by Phoenix Rising and Didier Drogba. Chris Cortez, Southern California native, the opener in that one in the opening minutes. Seaton giving chase. And Carroll does a really good job of bowling through, not committing a foul and coming up with the ball.
If you're Reno, you have to be really careful here because Orange County is going to be sending numbers high tempo, opening 5-10 minutes to try and go get that third goal. Weather the storm, stay composed on it, and just try and find a way to play out of the back a bit better than what we saw in the first half.
So Devin, if you're Reno, what are you doing tactically by bringing on Mendiola and dropping out Akinurich, who I think you felt in the first half had a little bit of trouble dealing with the pace of Orange County's wing play?
Akinurich really struggled, and we saw this look last week. The difference is that Reno was out in front by 1 goal, where they took Lidl, moved him into that right back position, and they had a couple other moves as well, but Mendiola actually went into the advanced position in front of Sam Gleedle. So with Sam Gleedle playing in the right back, it'll be interesting to see how they flip-flop now. The difference is that right now Haji has gone to the right side, Mendiola on the left. That does give you a balance where they'll jump back and forth. You don't get that look out of Gleedle on a regular basis. He likes to stay isolated on one side, and now that he's moved into the right back position, you can get the 1-2 punch. The question is, it's an unfamiliar because he's normally with Mendiola. It's not necessarily with Haji.
Lacroix, pride of Penn. He's a Quaker in his heart. Mendiola. Arteta. Carroll. Reno looking for what would be a league-leading 6th road win. 2 teams in the East done the same thing, and they've broken through here. Trying to push in. Sam Gleedle came up short. Here he goes again, Darwin Jones. And Wolfgang running down the middle. And his run slowed up the pressure of Lacroix. Well, Devin, we talk with some coaches who say, hey, I needed that 15-goal scorer because you can't win the league without him. There's others that take a lot of pride in having a lot of different players chip in. And if you think about Ian Russell and Reno, they had that great goal scorer in Brian Brown. They also, and Dane Kelly before that, they also had that ability to get goals from 6-7 positions on the field. The great scorer is gone now, and there's a greater reliance on everybody else. Seymour pushed it forward into a wide position. Haji.
Now you just wonder offensively, where does that response come from? We've already talked about Corey Herzog and the run of form that he's been in. But now who steps up to supplement the loss of Brian Brown? Very much going the likes of Danny Mazovsky, who is still yet to hit the back of the net on a regular basis. One of the things we did talk to Ian Russell about was not necessarily having concern in that area.
Seymour, well, he doesn't have a goal yet this year. That would be an odd place to see that come from. Wasn't a terrible effort either from the, and often finds himself a bit further back.
I always got myself into trouble in situations like this where I played a high position. You push it back across your body, create space, feel like you have plenty of opportunity to hit it from anywhere that you want. The problem is it's coming to your right, you're bringing it back across your left, you're leaning back for a bit of distance. Usually it gets away from you. That's exactly what goes on from Will Seymour. Track back to Mazovsky for a second here. Russell would be more concerned if the opportunities weren't coming. That's not the case.
Jones forcing his way through and puts it in. A one-man show for Orange County again. 3-goal lead for Orange County. They've run away with it.
Opportunities aren't lacking for Darwin Jones. Even when they're not coming his way, he'll just go create his own. Speed once again being fully exploited against this back line of Reno 1868. Haji went to the right, Gleedle went to the right, Darwin Jones stayed on the left, and he made a mockery of the outside back at Sam Gleedle. The Englishman cannot keep up. There is the big stature we talked about, using that broad shoulder to just push him off the ball. Great little shoulder charge back across. Goalkeeper Marskinkowski can't track it, and it's easy pickings for the finish by Darwin Jones.
Andy King is one of our favorite Orange County fans on the Twitter sphere. He was saying that our characterization of Darwin Jones's size was maybe not on point in the first half, but I think we've hit the nail on the head in what we really meant, right?
Well, I get it. He might not be able to ride the go-karts everywhere, but the guy is built like a brick house, and that's what we were going after. Yeah, he's under 6 foot, probably listed at 5'10". I guarantee you that's a very polite high 5'8" when you get a look at him ground level. But it's his ability to use that big frame. You saw it right there, the shoulder charge to push Gleedle off of the ball, and then the speed in the next 5-10 yards over the long haul as well to really counteract his opponent. That's exactly what we were trying to talk about.
You know what's funny about him is, like Alston, they brought him in to try and settle the outside back position. He had experience there in Seattle. Alston comes in, he settles that spot. Amico has done well there over the last 2 years. Jones pushes higher up the field, and you can't imagine this Orange County offense without him right now.
Credit some of that time as well under the tutelage of Stuart Campbell and Tampa Bay Rowdies with the system that they have, where they could rotate out of the 3 and 4 back. It's much better under Neil Collins, but similar strategies where he could interchange his outside backs and midfielders multiple times. That's exactly where Darwin Jones played into the system.
He was there in 2017, and then at the start of 2018, they put him in the Orange County Soccer Club player database, but didn't sign him until midway through the year. Be interested to see that database, though. I don't know if you know this, Devin. I'm a huge Excel nerd.
Got a big database going on over there.
I've worked on many a database. This swung through again. Jones, high Seaton, and will run past Alvarado. Alston. Got the band on his left bicep today. By Orozco. When Leonardo returns, will likely find his way back to a familiar outside back roll. Herzog, as usual, full faith and credit into the press. And Orange County has beaten that midfield line. What does Seaton have here? Van Wolfgang, Alvarado. Alvarado! Oh, that looked good coming off his foot. It rose too far.
This is one of the boys that was in that database Mike Watts was just referencing. A guy who they've been bringing up the ranks all the way back to December. Got his opening goal against Austin Bold in that 3-2 loss a few weeks ago. Thought they had completed the comeback until things changed just down the stretch in extra time, cutting it back across his body, and really nice to see him get an opportunity over the past few matches to showcase that hard work that Braden talked to us about, where a guy who just, he likes to compare to Mats Bierman and how he just does so much dirty work, similar to what Aiden Quinn does, except this is a higher line. It's underneath the strikers. He compared it to Bierman and Edie Voltson last year and how he would go into the tackles and allow them to go up and pound the back of the net on a frequent basis.
Quick restart. The offside flag is up. Funny thing about Alvarado is he goes, we have a good relationship with Xolos Tijuana. So, of course, did you get your list from Oscar Pareja, who he played against in MLS? But no, actually their director of soccer operations to put him on to Alvarado sent Roberto Cornejo.
How interesting was it too? Another guy that down but not out. You're on a first-team contract going into the end of 2018 season
at Tijuana and Liga MX.
Big time squad, and little do you know that your management system has informed another manager that you're probably not going to be kept. They give a list of a few Mexican Americans that they feel like might fit into Orange County, and he's at the top of that list. Gets an opportunity, comes in, trains at the end of December with a couple of the guys that were here last year. Said he didn't wow us, but was consistent enough to bring him back for preseason, try him out at multiple spots. Again, didn't necessarily blow everybody off the page. Kind of what like Hume is trying to do here. Tracks back across, and there's the late run. It's Joe Amico on the far side. Rough challenge on Corey Herzog, and just persistence paid off. Got an opportunity with their U23s. Said that almost each and every time out, he was the best player on the pitch, especially in that number 8 position. That's what you're seeing today. They fluctuated him, started him on the outside. Now that you've gotten some healthy bodies back, you can kind of rotate him all over. Nice to see his skill set being fully deployed.
It's 27 in orange, Edson Alvarado, who before the U23 season was over in USL League 2, went to Oliver Weiss, the GM, and said, we got to get him on the field. Ball across. And a collision in the 6-yard box. And he's pointing towards the penalty spot. How about this? Reno has a chance to grab one here.
This is Will Seymour who goes to ground. Keep an eye on the backside as this ball gets floated all the way back over. There is a shove. Is it both hands, or is it just a little nudge? That's Tucker Hume on the back end of it. So it looks like Kevin Alston pulls the left side of his jersey to pull him off kilter. The problem is the momentum of Tucker Hume carries it back across. Seymour's never going to get to this ball. There's a look on the backside of things as well. Regardless, referee points to the spot. Reno an opportunity to get within 2.
This is, I highly doubt what Braden Cloutier was talking about, but he talked about how set pieces had been their Achilles heel. He felt better about the way they handled them against San Antonio, cleared their lines, attacked the ball. In this case, one set piece leads to a penalty.
And the initial charge here coming from Kevin Alston is a harmless jersey tug. This happens on a regular basis. You see it all the time where bodies are mixing it up in the box. Instead, as he pulls him back across, it actually counteracts it, pulls it right in front of the center back, and that momentum is then carried over onto Will Seymour, who goes to ground. It's just a domino effect that has ended up on the wrong side for Orange County.
Aaron Cervantes, 17 years of age. Try and keep Corey Herzog from his 10th goal of the year. Herzog, the 28-year-old, has been a journeyman in the most positive way you could describe it. A phenomenal goal scorer in this league. Herzog to get Reno back in it. Sends Cervantes the wrong way. He's the 8th man to double figures in the league this year. Goal number 10 for Herzog. Game on for Reno.
There's a little fight left in them. Hasn't been the best opening 58 minutes. Sometimes you need a veteran leader. Lovely penalty. Bottom corner, instep, right at the sandbag, holding the weight down. Corey Herzog knows that this may be the fireworks to get them started. He scored some better goals, but they'll take them any way they can get them at this point in time.
Speared forward. Seaton will give chase all the way back to Marcinkowski. You can tell Reno's got a little more juice right now than they had about 5 minutes ago.
I'm looking for guys like Raul Mendiola to get involved now. A guy with a massive amount of energy who, again, they're trying to handle his workload, dealing with a bit of a knock on his end of things, and trying to make sure that they slowly bring him back in. I asked Ian Russell about that. I said, look, he was pretty much penned into this lineup come week 15, 16. That hasn't been the case. Has his form slacked off and he's lost his shirt? He said, no, you know, he picked something up in training, and we're just making sure that he's still able to get some playing time, but we don't run his body into the ground.
Mendiola slides in. He's won the ball back. Mendiola was the brightest light for Las Vegas on the field during their expansion season a year ago. Lacroix. Reno looks like an entirely different team right now. Lacroix, the cross. Lays it off, Mendiola. Header forward, and there's Cervantes off his line. Fans, you can get your updates and alerts all year long. Follow your club on ESPN.com. Just search for Reno 1868 or Orange County SC or your team, and click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. And a foul here. And a yellow card. Alvarado goes into the book. And a set piece for Reno to try and really make Orange County a little crazy with half an hour to go.
Interesting how many whistles we've had after that penalty shout. There's Mendiola, nice little turn, and a professional foul by Alvarado. Felt like there was too much space for the speedy winger to be had. It's probably not that far off. That's the last thing you want to do, is let Mendiola turn and run downhill at you.
And there's a change here, and this is a groundbreaking change if you're Reno. Lindo Mafeka comes on, and his injury woes are the only thing that kept him from breaking out on a league MVP kind of level. Out goes Fuentes, and all of a sudden it feels like all the big guns are on the field right now for Devin, for Reno.
30 minutes to play, and you push Fuentes up higher now and let Mafeka play underneath him. That's the look that we've seen before.
Mafeka. Slipped ahead to Mendiola. Mafeka trying to combine with Mendiola. There's a foul outside the area. And another set piece for Reno. If you're looking for death by 1,000 paper cuts, Devin, against a team like Orange County, take all these set pieces you can grab.
It's happening right now. Keep an eye. There's Aiden Quinn branching down, holding the space, and it's actually on the far side of things with Joe Amico. Quinn recognizing the threat at the top of the 18. Unfortunately, it's the second ball coming back across that gets them in trouble. The gray area angle that we always talk about here. Just outside of that elbow piece, and got a couple guys sitting right at the top of the box. Some trailing runs to the far post. Can you get enough leverage underneath this ball to get it up and down quickly? Zach Carroll feels like he's going to have a say. Big body in the middle of the field.
Mafeka to put it in play. Mafeka punched away by Cervantes. Dive by Herzog. Try and get to that ball. He says he was pushed. Reno will take their time. Mafeka. Oh. There was a stroller there, and that ball was making a beeline. And now there's over a dozen small children making a similar beeline to get to the ball, which they don't get to keep. .63 minutes gone. Orange County led 3-0. Reno has responded with a penalty, but it's been this man all day long. Jones looking for Van Wolfgang. Alvarado, good leading touch. Seaton. Arteta. It's kept by Amico. Extra touch onward ball, cross sliding down, Seaton. And a goal kick coming for Reno.
Better pressure from Reno on the backside. See 2 and 3 bodies surrounding Michael Seaton. It's a stark difference than what we saw in the first half. Orange County, many a time, getting the opportunity to go one-on-one. And even 2 and 3v1 in a lot of situations. Not the case here in the second half. The back line much more composed after the goal given up by Gleadle on the far side. Unfortunately, they had to get down by 3 to try and make their way back. They've gotten 1. Are there 2 left in store for Ian Russell's traveling squad?
So run all the way back to Marcinkowski. Partida. There's a little room here. Van Wolfgang striding into this. He'll let it go! Off the crossbar with immense pace. Oh, doing that against your old team should be illegal. What a hit. And here comes Orange County moving into it again. Will he have another rip at this? He's closed down a bit sooner this time. Alvarado, Seton. Quick twitch movements away from LeBlanc.
Midfield of Orange County starting to get tired. Transitional movements just a second ago. You could see Aiden Quinn laboring just a little bit. They've rotated a bit more in the center. They were sitting in a 4-3-3 with Quinn holding deep.
Get over Herzog.
It's not the case anymore, but it's still giving you the opportunity. Jerry Van Wolfgang out of the middle of the field, pushing his high line, gets in front of Christian Duke. Watch the first touch out in front of him. Second, even better, and the third one just unleashes. He's got about 25 yards to goal. Unfortunately, Woodwork saves the goalkeeper on this one.
Could you say perhaps that Wolfgang has tickled the ivory? This is a transgenerational reference. This is no Vegas vacation. Andiola. Oh, there's a run in behind. It's well done. Mafeka has been closed down. It's a great recovery.
The first touch by Mafeka was not nearly as good as what you saw from Van Wolfgang on the other side of the field. If he gets this right, ball gets out in front, he can hit it on the second one.
Marcinkowski will settle it down. You can tune in to ESPN3, July the 31st. Close out the month with us. Wednesday night soccer from the land of enchantment. 2 of USL Championship's newest clubs. Battle for playoff position, El Paso and New Mexico. 9 Eastern time. Wednesday night soccer on ESPN3. Up by Cervantes. What a story Aaron Cervantes has turned into, huh? 17 years old. Patrick McLean was brought in to be the guy. They've since parted ways. Seton driving. Good foot from Clementa, but Seton's taking it back. Seton on the drive. Seton right into the goalkeeper. Marcinkowski on it.
It's a great job by Michael Seton up top, but Edson Alvarado, you have to be screaming at the top of your lungs for this ball. First one gets away. Clementa working back across. Perseverance by the Jamaican. And look at the far post run. Lay it off to 27, and you could put 4 up on Reno. Instead, right at the goalkeeper, and Reno remained within striking distance.
Viola. That is an excellent touch. Really cultured stuff from Van Wolfgang. What a day it's already been for Darwin Jones. 2 goals. Jones, that'll ricochet off of him after a piece of it grabbed by Marcinkowski.
Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.
Jones started 2018 in Sweden. Florida, Chicago, Illinois. Was around Seattle in S2. Time when the organization was winning MLS Cup.
Whether it's the run of play or the Heat or the Kids, County Line Coalition still beating along all those drums. Quite impressive, 70 minutes in. I think I'll ask for that from you for Christmas.
What?
Music lessons.
No.
A hug? Just tell me I'm
fine,
better off.
I'll get you the music lessons. You win. It's flicked on by Haji, brought down to Mafeka. I'll only let you play the xylophone or the piccolo. Appeal for a handball. Hydration break. Come on at this point. They started at around 91 degrees at kickoff, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. As this Wednesday night soccer rolls on. Michael Seaton got the opening goal of this affair back in the 11th minute. Darwin Jones grabbing 2 since. One of those anything you can do, I can do better deals. Both came into the day with 6 goals. It was Seaton who found the opener, though. And Orange County, who had been looking for that opening goal for, 7, 8 games, finally got it.
11th minute, Darwin Jones into the back post by Michael Seaton. Again, truly impressed by Seaton's recognition of where the space was and then had to reoccupy. Very well done. Darwin Jones would then pay the favor on his own front. Ball would come over from Michael Seaton, puts it on his left foot. This would be 36th minute. Felt like they were off and running. Started the second half, I said, watch out. Opening 5-10 minutes. Orange County was really going to pump the throttle. That's exactly what goes on. Christian Duke, long ball to the far side, but everything was Darwin Jones in the one-on-one. Getting outside of Sam Gleadle. That made it 3. Controversial a little bit on the backside. There is the momentum that comes in the likes of Walker Hume after the tug by Kevin Alston. Seymour goes to ground. Corey Herzog makes him pay. 20 minutes to go of sorts, and getting a bit of water, some direction from the manager. Reno have looked much better here in the second half compared to the first. That's not saying much, folks. Just to give you an idea of how poor it was for me and Russell's squad. They flattened things out in middle field. They've now brought in Mafeka. I've really liked the movement that I've seen, but you have to find a way to get Haji and Mendiola more involved in the run of play. Too many of it has been in isolated situations. They have so much potential. When Mafeka is tracking back and forth, left to right, there's space to be had. Corey Herzog needs to start occupying that, dropping back in just in front of the back line. He can then receive the ball. You can play off of him and get the balls down into the channel. That's exactly what we showcased at the top of this broadcast. They just haven't been able to show any of it to us in this match.
You see Corey Herzog, Anthony Pulis, some of his other coaches too in the past have described him as a big 12-year-old. And I think that's said with so much grace and positivity that we keep bringing it up. It is worth noting, Anthony Pulis, there's a great article that just came out from The Athletic about the St. Louis FC coach, which is where Corey Herzog was a year ago. Considering taking an assistant job in Columbus, about using the St. Louis job as the best place for him to continue his coaching pedigree. The son of a Premier League coach, Anthony Pulis led St. Louis alongside New Mexico as the last 2 teams alive in the U.S. Open Cup this year.
How about for Corey Herzog, the guy who seems to lead every category coming out of Penn State. The Nittany Lion, for the 4th time in his career, has hit double-digit goal, and it seems like he's been everywhere. Finally an opportunity to get back on track here. It wasn't the best look under St. Louis, but for me, guys like Corey, that was a system thing for him. You're shaking your head about the Penn State reference, aren't you?
I'm still on the Penn State thing.
We'll have a discussion about that later. Again, Christmas gift is in the mail. But just, you got to give credit to Corey and his ability to really play off other guys around him. Corey is an out-and-out number 9, but it's his ability to drop down into those tight spaces, to be the recipient of a ball and play off of him. That's where he's at his best. And then to peel off and get the second and third ball. He's finally found a home once again in Reno.
It's Dave Brand who called him a 12-year-old, and it was Anthony Pulis who called him a nuisance. He was in Orlando playing Pulis when Corey Herzog was at Wilmington. Just said, I vividly remember playing against Corey Herzog. This is a bit out in front of Herzog. A thumbs up to Mafeka. Is the center forward being called a nuisance is one of the highest forms of praise?
Absolutely. Coming from a former center back, the guys that pestered you, they weren't necessarily the highest skill level. I'm saying in regard to Corey, no disrespect at all. Massive amount of talent. There are obviously other players from technical ability that are better than Corey Herzog, but to always be on your back shoulder, always be that step ahead. Are you going to check and drop deep into midfield? Are you going to try and challenge me and break in between me and my striking partner on the back line and really separate the center backs? That's why you become a pest, and that's why Corey Herzog can become a double-digit goal scorer on a regular basis.
Nearly played through, but now Mendiola. Slid away from Haji, recovered by Partita. Trying to get back into this in the last quarter hour. Teams have been plagued by those bookend goals early and late over the course of this year. Mendiola. Partita still going after this. Did you hear George Michael playing in the background? Ooh, he doesn't like George Michael.
I like George Michael.
Oh, okay. Pushing into the final third, Reno in pursuit. Goal that would bring them back within striking distance. They've won a corner. Orange County conceded a penalty on a corner just before the hour mark that Corey Herzog tucked home.
It was a really nice tackle here, tracking back by Edson Alvarado. Well done. Gleadle had got around the outside, and the 21-year-old California native able to use those long legs of his to get out in front of the ball.
Tackle to make Devin Kerr proud. Corner for Reno, aimed at Herzog. Not that proud, he did cleat him in the ankle.
There you go, yeah.
Change coming. For Orange County, what a performance by Darwin Jones. He's set to come out. Christian Duke, Devin, first time in the starting lineup this year for a guy who epitomized Orange County's top of the West run last year. Between Jones and Duke, phenomenal players that have had an enormous impact for Orange County. Let's take a look at what Darwin Jones did. Scored in the 36th and the 50th, and he proved once you get the ball to him, he can do the rest.
This ball was very well done. This actually came out on Michael Seaton. The second one would be that connection you just talked about. Christian Duke playing a long ball behind the back line. Darwin Jones going one-on-one. Nice little cutback across. Goalkeeper can't keep up. For Christian Duke, thought this was a great way from a starting position in the 11 to gain more confidence in what is this comeback. And it gives you an indication of what he's capable of going forward, because this was solid from him, and he's probably only at about 75–80% right now, still looking to gain more fitness and more confidence. Great job by Braden, weaning him back into the squad.
Daniel Crisostomo has come on. County can't quite understand this. Giovanni Godoy, another player that's made his way in.
With that movement by Ben Cloutier, he was most assuredly going to be dropping two into the midfield. That's exactly what's gone on. Aiden and Crisostomo will now sit side by side, moving away from that offensive shape we've seen all game long. So with 10 minutes to go, just battering down the hatches just a little bit, not a lot. Still a massive amount of athletic ability out there that can go in transition. You better believe 2-goal lead. They'd like to secure the fortress just a little bit down the stretch.
Wow.
Easy, easy.
What you were saying, there was some confidence pouring out there earlier from Seton. I raise you one.
That's Michael Seton playing FIFA before the game.
And that's him playing Zlatan.
Having a little fun. Be fair, when a striker's in that kind of form and you're up by 2 goals,
Have it.
you can afford those looks. Why not? Sky's the limit for that young man.
Hey fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. It allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth, compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Herzog. The flag is up for offside.
Who's in charge of the music of the PA?
There's a real trumpet. That's the actual trumpet.
That's very well done. You got to give
There's a coalition involved.
They are doing some wondrous things out there today. There their boys are.
I like everything except for the sunglasses and the all right, everything he's wearing, but the trumpet was great. Just not a fan. Too basic. All seriousness, phenomenal work. He's back to work. There's some really good musical elements around this league. The Groove Machine in Louisville comes to mind. Nice pulse at a Phoenix Rising game. Spent a lot of time thinking about that. Mendiola. Seymour. Haji working at it. Mendiola. Mendiola continuing. Cervantes will grab it. New Mexico has a bass guitarist and an amp, I think. So that's positive. I could go on.
You can keep going on. I'm saying.
Fine, I'll get you the music.
There it is. Christmas has come early, my friends. To be fair, multiple clubs, Real Monarchs, experiencing Christmas in July.
In a couple weeks, we'll have you on camera with a clarinet. Yeah, they had a Hawaiian-looking Santa. Had the lei on and the Hawaiian shirt, Tommy Bahama shirt. It's like 100 degrees that day in Salt Lake. This will run all the way through. And picked up by Cervantes. You know, they're a big believer. While they thought Patrick McLean was the right answer, and they did part ways earlier this year, that former MLS goalkeeper who started the year at Orange County, they feel like Cervantes is exactly what they're looking for. They're promoting young players from this Orange County region. They feel it's a hotbed.
I got Emma.
I feel Orange County in particular can provide a lot of players that could be significant in the USL Championship side. And Aaron Cervantes looks like a full-grown man more often than he looks like a 17-year-old kid.
The buzzwords for me out of that conversation with Coach was culture and what they're trying to do from within. And yes, they part ways with their goalkeeper, but they have troops just lined up, ready to step in and take advantage of their opportunities. Aaron Cervantes, one of them, who became youngest ever to sign with the club, and at that point in time was the third youngest in the USL. That changes daily now with all the talent being pumped through the system. We saw Cole Turner getting the opportunity with Bethlehem Steel. He just signed a contract coming through their academy. And that's one of the things to continue the development around this country, where you're not chasing guys all across the country to bring in and reinforce your squad. You could look to the academy level and even further if need be. That's exactly what they get out of Cervantes, who has showcased himself personally multiple times this year. But more importantly, going back to what Brayden Cloutier said, is that he fits into our system and what we're really trying to do out here in this culture.
You think about it, they're nearly 80 professional teams. They're vying for players now. Future's bright. Van Wolfgang. That'll deflect, and Galito will drive it away. Off to the races, Reno, with their ringmaster leading the way. Feka got it to Herzog, who drove it the other way. Haji, Feka. Mendiola. Poked away from Partita. He's got a little too far in front, Van Wolfgang. Herzog. Change coming. Reno had used all three of theirs by the hour mark. This is the final change for Orange County. And that's enough for Edson Alvarado. The Tijuana youth has had a notable impact since signing from the under-23 team in Orange County. He arrived as an amateur.
You can see some of the growing pains still associated with that young man, but a bright future for sure. The decision-making has to be a bit crisper at times, and Luis Cantor will get an opportunity to come in. We've seen this look from Orange County before. Well, they'll drop him into the midfield and just shut things down a little bit.
Cantor has come on Orange County to try and see this out. If they do, make a pretty simple argument. This is their biggest win of the year.
Not just their biggest win, but one of the more dominant performances. That's the more important thing. You get style points on this one. It's not a come from behind 2-2 tie at the beginning of the year. It's not a, okay, let's get things started in the second half against Austin Bold. I understand they lost that game, but they look good for 20, 30-minute spells. And Cloutier saying that we need to find a way to become more consistent in our actions and make teams come to us. That's exactly what they've done from the first whistle approaching the 88th minute so far.
And not to put words in the mouth of Ian Russell on the other side for Reno, Devin, and there's still a ways to go. But he didn't really feel like his team deserved to lose a couple of the games they lost this year. This is one where I think Orange County was the better team for 90 minutes. Not that Reno didn't have a few chances, but I think this is one where Reno would probably agree they didn't deserve 3 points. It's not yet.
That was quite interesting hearing that, wasn't it? How he said, you know, 11-4-5 coming in, and the 4 losses, as you can see the frustration in the manager's eyes. He felt like, to be honest, one of the ones that they really didn't deserve it was the loss that started this great run, the 3-0 against Phoenix Rising.
Orange County looking for another. That'll deflect en route to the penalty spot. Godoy. Crossing, shot on, fingertip save. Marcinkowski.
with Reno trying to come back a little bit here. They get stretched a bit thin. Good job persevering on the far side. Giovanni just knocks this ball back across right on the 6, trailing run, waiting for it. A little redirect. Going for the far post, well done by Marcinkowski. And it was not discrediting what Phoenix had done to them, but it's the goal by Adam John opening 7 minutes. There was the early goals. They needed to stop conceding. They got away from that a bit. Even Asante, with his goal in the 56th, there was to be a third at the tail end of things in the likes of Joey Kalistri. But when you watch the breakdown of the game, they didn't get played off the park. That was the one where you really felt like, okay, this was definitely not a 3-0 match. And, you know, the other ones, he said, okay, maybe there was a cause for concern in certain areas, but on a regular basis, we feel like we've been in each every match.
Herzog. Well, that would have given Reno a lifeline. Instead, that ball's getting a new phone line over at the AT&T stand.
Second time for Corey Herzog here. Loads of space out in front of him. Trailing run by Mendiola on the backside. Just has to show that veteran capability we were just talking about. Take a breath, put this touch out in front of you. Two things are going to happen. You're going to set yourself up nicely to have a goal-on-goal and challenge the 17-year-old, or you can play it in to Raul Mendiola. Get within one with 4 or 5 minutes to play. Instead, once again, leans back, knocks it up over the bar.
Pinged into the corner, nobody home. Orange County will return to a more normalized time of day on Saturday when they take on Sacramento. As Orange County's ownership group is enjoying the day. Keston and Orange County Soccer Club showing a 3-1 win. He gets the benefit of shade. Attack on here. Is there another one now for Orange County? Settled and ripped over the crossbar by Godoy.
This will be part of video review for Orange County come midweek. Another great opportunity to put one in the back of the net. Trailing run. Michael Seaton has to continue to the far side here as Ramos Godoy cuts in. Loads of space to be had and provide another option. Just trying to build some confidence, the substitute.
Mendiola. And one of the things that stood out to me in that conversation with Ian, beyond the fact that, you know, they felt that they deserved more than they had gotten, they felt like no matter what, we're going to get chances. I think you could say the same thing today. They did have chances in this game. Really more in the second half when they stretched things out and got Mendiola and Mafeka on the field. Theoretically, those are guys you're expecting to go 90 minutes more often than not when they're healthy enough to do that. Oh, wide open down the field. Crisostomo must finish now, and he does! Orange County's fourth. First goal for Daniel Crisostomo, the UC Irvine man. Welcome to the big leagues.
In the absence of all of their big names, when Aiden Quinn was injured and suspended earlier this year, when Christian Duke, still coming back from that horrific pectoral accident, Crisostomo in the middle of the field was the one who seemed to get it done on a regular basis. He's had to take a back seat recently, but an opportunity coming off the bench, one-on-one, trailing run by the back line and not going to be had. Look at the near post. Goalkeeper can't slide over. Brilliance from the holding midfielder to push himself through.
Crisostomo came into this year with what Brayden Cloutier called a 2% chance of making the team, given all the depth they had in midfield. And if it weren't for the injury to Christian Duke, I don't know that we're celebrating his first professional goal. Basically on his home stomping grounds.
Funny, in that opening 10, 12 weeks, he would have been the one where if you had no clue what the background of this team was, you'd point to him and say, he's important. He's definitely someone who's been on this team for quite some time. You can see he really gelled well with the rest of his teammates.
That'll run all the way out. No doubt in this game, Orange County's biggest win of the season, bar none. They have moved into a playoff position with this win from 14th to 10th. And for Reno, their 5-game winning streak is over. 4-1 win for Orange County over Reno on Wednesday Night Soccer.
Beautifully done from the home squad. Hats off. This was truly amazing from start to finish. And you really have to give credit to the coaching staff. He knew exactly what game plan was going to be. They executed to a T. Reno 1868 down, but not out. They'll get an opportunity to regroup this weekend.
For Orange County, just their 3rd win in their last 12 games. We'll wrap it up on Wednesday Night Soccer after this. Well, Orange County has finally plugged the leak. Their 2nd win in 8, their 3rd win in 12, and an Orange County side that finished 1st in the West last year is back in playoff position after a lengthy stint on the outside looking in. 4-1 win as Leonardo suspended for the game, chatting it over with his coach. A 4-1 win for his Orange County side. Here are the full-time highlights with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts. And Devin, we begin with Orange County jumping in front in the 11th minute. It's the Darwin show later on, but ultimately he's the one who feeds Michael Seaton for the easiest header of all time.
Pace was always a problem for the back line of Reno 1868 this afternoon. And again, it all goes back to his ability to recognize that when the first pass doesn't come, okay, let me track back to the far post again, and now where's the space going to be? When he does that, this ball can be on the ground, it can be in the air, it can honestly be anywhere. Michael Seaton still has to finish things off. He does so to the backside. Now, Darwin Jones gets an opportunity. This comes from, that's right, Michael Seaton. Nice ball out in front. The speedster gets an opportunity to make a decision. This is a worst-case scenario for Akin Juric. The youngster does not get it right, lets him put it on his left foot, challenges the goalkeeper one-on-one. They get out 2-0. Opening 5-10 minutes can be game changers for either squad at the start of the second half. Orange County, they obviously did their scouting report. They came out with a massive amount of energy. Guess who? Once again, Darwin Jones, he gets his brace, puts it in the back of the net in the 50th minute.
That's his 2nd of the game, 8th of the year, 36th and 50th. And then this kind of changed the game a little bit. There's a foul here, a tug by Alston, and a chance for Herzog to grab one back.
It's always frustrating as a defender because for Kevin Alston, he doesn't necessarily do anything wrong, just turns the guy around a little bit. Hume, his momentum carries him over. Well done by Corey Herzog to put this one away. He goes into double digits, gets his 10th goal of the year. Down the stretch, to be fair, Reno never really put up a fight. 5-6 minutes to go, looking for more chances to be had. Wasn't going to come from the visiting squad. Nice to see Crisostomo get on the score sheet. He deserves it with everything he's done in the first half of the season for Orange County.
The guy who came from great tutelage under Mike Munoz at Chivas USA and then the Galaxy Academy. Here are the full-time stats, Dev, as you wrap up with your final thoughts. Orange County's day, no doubt.
Efficient is the word that you would like to go after here, and it is definitely a talking point. But more impressive is the efficiency in relation to goals and shots on target. A lot of times you can see shots pumped into the back of the net, and it'll be 23-2, 23-1. More importantly, they put 50% of the time they hit the target, it ended up in the back of the goal. That is nicely done for Orange County. For Reno 1868, can they now recover on the weekend? They will challenge Colorado Springs Pitchbacks.
Next Wednesday, we've got New Mexico and El Paso for Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN3, but for all of us tonight, producer Abel Ponte, director Gage Tillotson, Eric Falero, Anna Reyes, Evan Kerr alongside our entire wonderful Vista WorldLink crew in Orange County, California. A 4-1 win for Orange County. To say they desperately needed it would be an understatement. This homestand might turn their season around, and yes, they have plugged the leak. The Jones Show stars on Orange County 4, Reno 1. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.